Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. 12 Faces of Sober Speaks podcast, episode 68. I am your host, Kenneth Watson. First and foremost, let me start this off by saying happy Veterans Day to everybody out there, to those who have served. Greatly appreciated for those who I came in contact with over the 6 years of my service. Like I said, I still have a lot of relationships with many people that, like I said, I was stationed at Fort Bragg, or I think it's Camp or Fort Victory now, and Fort Bliss. I don't know if they changed the name of that, but I did my basic training at Fort Jackson, I believe, and I think they changed the name of that duty station, in Fort Lee. I don't know if that's the same name now, but my neighbor's dog is barking. But yeah, so like I said, I wanted to spend the whole entire day just showing as much love as possible to veterans. And I've been talking to a lot of people. And so I guess, I fulfilled my duties. I got my free stuff. And so, I went this morning, went to the grocery store. The lady was like, "Are you a veteran?" I said, "Oh, yes." And she gave me a discount on my items that I purchased. I went to a coffee shop, got free coffee, and then I also got free lunch. I thought about getting something to eat this evening, but it's too dang cold up here in Minnesota. So I opted out of that and then just pretty much chilled for the evening. So like I said, tonight's guest is Brother John Reed. He wasn't in my unit per se, but me and his wife worked together when I was stationed in El Paso, Texas. A really, really good brother that I've leaned on, throughout the last couple of years as far as communicating this great content on his social media. He helped me out this summer as far as being a sounding board when I made my transition back to Minnesota. So I had to show love tonight and have him on here. And let me see if I can pull him in. And welcome to everybody that is in that chose to come, listen tonight. This is going to be a different show tonight. Might not really focus so much on sobriety, but just showing love to veterans. So if you know a veteran or you got questions for both of us, please don't hesitate to ask, and we will do more than answer. We'll answer the questions for you and everything. Hey, what's going on, Reed? Look, the wife is already in. Who's that? Oh, 19 years. That's how many years you served. Salute to you. You know what I'm saying? It's bring all, tag your veteran friends. Whoever's out there that's a veteran, bring them on in, because it's going to be a great conversation. Let me go ahead and let me see if I can add them. All right. What's going on, bro? What's going on?
All right, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. And yourself? Happy Veterans Day again.
Happy Veterans Day to you too, and everybody out here watching. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now, like I said, welcome to 12 Faces of Sober Speaks podcast. Greatly appreciate, you coming on, blessing the show. We're going to have a really good conversation tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, let me see. Blake, 19 years clean from drugs. Okay. Yeah, man, congratulations. Congratulations. I might need you to come on my podcast soon. So hit me in the DM a little bit later on. But like I said, I got John on with me tonight. He served in the Army. He just transitioned out. So this is going to be interesting because he's, he's new. I've been out for 7 years. And so it's kind of good to pick somebody's brain who's fresh out and then kind of see, because, the real world or the civilian world is definitely different from that the 0-6 formations and the 9:30, was it 9:30 work calls or whatever, or 9 o'clock work calls. And you got to get up early in the morning unless you have to, you know what I'm saying, unless you transition to another job. So like I said, I ain't going to keep talking for now. So you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Let them know, where you from, how many years you served, and then, we'll go on from there.
Okay. I'm John Reed. I'm from South Carolina. Not too far from Myrtle Beach, probably an hour from Myrtle Beach. Born and raised. I just finished up my service of 11, almost 12 years. My first duty station was Fort Bliss, but let's back up. Basic training was at Fort Benning. and
Okay.
then AIT was Fort Jackson. I don't know if they changed the names of those, but that's how
Yeah.
I remember them. And then first duty station was Bliss. Then we came here to uh, Fort Campbell on the first, shout out to Air Assault. And then we went to Washington, JBLM, and then we came back here to Tennessee to finish up my transition. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so what was your job in the Army?
Oh man. So for the first 10 years, I was a light wheel mechanic, a 91
Okay.
Bravo. Long nights. I'm sure we're gonna get into that, but yeah, long nights as a mechanic, and then the last year and a half, almost 2 years, I was a contract specialist.
Okay. Okay. And so, was that the job you picked? The mechanic, was that what you picked in when you were going through, or was that like for me, the cook job was the earliest one. So I was like,
Yeah,
the earliest ship date was like, just get me out of Minnesota. You know what
right.
I'm saying? So how was that for you?
Yeah, for me it was like, I need to change my lifestyle. I went down to the recruiting station, and the recruiter was like, "What do you like to do?" I was like, "Well, I'm good with my hands. I know how to put stuff apart, take stuff apart, things like that." So it was like either mechanic or 88 Mike, which is transportation and driver. So I was like,
Okay.
you know what? I'll just take the mechanic route, and the rest was history.
Okay. Now, explain to those how basic training was for you. Because wait, so how old? Matter of fact, how old were you when you went to basic? Let's go with that.
So I went to basic around 23 years old. I was 23, going on 24, if I'm not mistaken. And so if Fort Benning is like an all males basic training, so some it was horrible, but for me, I mean, it wasn't no different. I was there to get my training and go. I know a lot of people that I know went to Fort Jackson. Fort Jackson was like a main basic training. So yeah.
That, that's where I went. I went to Fort Jackson. It was people. They say that whole relaxing Jackson stuff.
Nah, nah,
It's not. It wasn't. You know what I'm saying? We had to do work. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I don't know where that term came from because it definitely was difficult.
It's
You know what I'm
funny
saying?
because when I went to AIT, that was the first thing that the AIT instructor said. Like, I don't know what you've heard about Jackson, but this ain't no relaxing Jackson. So, yeah, he set the tone for me. I was like, all right, got it.
Okay. Yeah, and for me it was right. And so like it was hard for me because when I joined, I was 29 going on 30. I was in base training a month before I hit 30. So it was like I'm in here with these youngsters that was
Yeah.
17 through 23 was like the average age group. And so how was it for you in terms of like, okay, for one, obviously we're not used to. I mean, my dad was in the Navy. He was the Navy version of a drill sergeant, and so I kind of had that growing up, that upbringing of military life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But how was it in terms of like the training through those 10 weeks? Did you find anything that was difficult?
I already knew a couple of people before I joined, so they kind of gave me a heads up on, what to expect. And like I said, I joined at 23, 24, so I knew how to carry myself away from home. So those 8, 10 weeks, they actually flew by because I kept my head down. I did what I was supposed to do and stayed quiet. I actually, one of the drill instructor was like, "Hey, what's your name?" And we're like halfway through the training. So that's the type of person I am. I keep my head down and I do what I have to do. And those 8, 10 weeks, well, those 10 weeks, they went by fast. Um, Never seen snow in Georgia before, but yeah, it does snow in Georgia. So
Oh, wow. And then so now you complete the basic training, and then you go to AIT. Now, how long was your AIT?
I think my AIT was 6 weeks. I want to
6
say
weeks.
it wasn't that long. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And So, for those that don't know, AIT is more or less specialized for your job. So it's kind of like, I ain't gonna say a trade school. Yeah, you could say like a trade school,
Yeah.
and you get your training and your skills in that position. So seeing that you were already kind of like a hands-on type of person, did the knowledge that they were explaining to you, was it more easier to catch on because you were kind of familiar with some of the stuff?
Not quite. You know how they have this saying, the shade tree mechanics and things like that. When you
Hmm.
get into a profession like the Army, they want a standard to
Hmm.
follow. So the transition was it was kind of hard, but the Army is going to make stuff like cookie cutters, so you can't deviate from the wheel that they've created. So yeah, I just had to learn that, I have to put my tools back. Small things like that that, you grow accustomed to as you get into the profession. Yeah.
Now you go ahead, you not only complete basic, now you completed AIT, you get your first duty station. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily pick Fort Bliss. Was Fort Bliss your first choice, or was that like, you know what I'm saying? Because I, hey, what's going on, Alex? Big shouts out to Canada. I'm always getting love for Canada. That's the
Nice.
homie right there.
Nice.
But yeah, so was that your first choice?
No, actually, it wasn't. Like when everybody was getting their duty statement, it was like the roll of the dice. It's
Hmm.
and everybody was excited. Like, hey, where you going? Fort Bliss. I'm like, where is that? I don't even know. It's West Texas. That's all I knew. Not knowing that it's closer to South America, Mexico. But yeah,
Hmm.
it was just the luck of the draw. And
Okay.
a lot of people got Fort Drum as their first duty station. So
Hmm.
having Fort Bliss is a luck for me.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what's up. Now you're at Fort Bliss. Now, what did you because I know because I got my first duty station was Fort Bragg. So they were like, yeah, okay, I got attached to the 82nd, and they were like, you're gonna deploy. And I was like, man, I ain't want to go. Well, I'm not
Right.
gonna lie. But I said if that was if my orders came up and said, hey, we gotta go, that's what I signed up for.
So
So what was it like once you got to Fort Bliss? Was that something they told you that, they're on a rotation, or, or you guys were just, basically fenced in, as they say?
yeah, fenced in. So when I got to Bliss and started doing the initial training and the onboarding or whatever, they told me that the unit that I was going to was downrange. So I
Okay.
didn't have to worry about that cycle when I got into the unit. So that was kind of a plus for me because uh, that's a bad hand to your first duty station being a tour. Like you don't know the basic of your job or the overall soldier concept with
Hmm.
a few weeks out of AIT. So yeah, I was lucky to be that rear D unit.
Okay. Okay. And so now you're at Fort Bliss. You're getting accustomed or acclimated to being less than 10 minutes away from Juarez,
Whereas,
Mexico, and so how was that? This is new to you. You're 24 now, and you're kind of you're in a whole new environment,
yeah.
military life, new city and state. So how was that, the adjustment?
Like I said before, coming in at 24, I knew how to move as far as
Okay.
an adult, and I didn't have a car, so it wasn't too much in trouble I could have gotten into while I was down there when I first got down there, and just adhering to what people that's been there longer than me,
Hmm.
listen to them like, okay, don't go downtown after this time, or uh, be careful going these places or whatever. And I just took note and be the responsible person. Like, okay, I'm not gonna I'm gonna learn from somebody else's mistakes.
Hmm.
So Yeah.
And that was me too. I didn't have when I got to Bliss, I didn't have a car that first year. Now, mind you, I'm 30 and I did not have a car. I got there, I think December 2009. Didn't have a car all of 2010. Didn't get my car until May of 2011.
Wow.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, I am thankful that I got the car when I did, because I think that first year and a half, you know, I probably wouldn't even been in the military. I would have got caught a lot of DUIs, accidents, and all kinds of stuff. You know, I was reckless, man. Because like I said, I was dealing with a lot of stuff before I even got into the Army. So it was like I'm at my duty station, I'm drinking whenever I can. So it was like, you know, dang near same stuff I was already doing. It's just the fact that I had on, you know, I put on a uniform. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So now you're getting acclimated, you know, you're in the barracks, you know. So like what it like, you know, not so much like giving up too much information, but like barracks life was like, it reminded me so much of college. It reminded me of living in the dorms, you know, women coming in and out, late night alcohol type deal.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like the alcohol was there, but all the other stuff, like dealing with the people in the barracks, I just couldn't do it because, like I said, the majority of the people were younger than me.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
I had a few from the DFAC that, you know, I was really cool with and stuff, but I just, you know, I kind of kept to myself. Plus, too, my buddy from college up here in Minnesota, he was stationed at, I'm not stationed, but he worked at the ID card place at Fort Bragg. So it was like, if I stepped out, you know, we was going to the other establishments, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
so how was barracks life for you?
Um, I was fortunate enough to know a couple of guys that I went to AIT with, and that kind
Mhm.
of created that bond with us as we transitioned over to AIT. So the barracks life, it wasn't that bad because I don't know if you remember, but those barracks that we had at Bliss, they were like brand new.
Oh,
So
wow.
we didn't. I didn't have to go through not wanting to be in my room because of you know, up to date barracks room. I actually wanted to stay in my room and
Mhm.
you know, stay out of trouble. And then you
Mhm.
know, fast forward, I met my wife, so she definitely kept me out of trouble. So the barracks life didn't last that long. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because that, like, I tell you, the barracks that we had at Fort Bragg, them things was probably like from, it had to be from like the 70s or something. They
Yeah.
was, yeah, they was a little bit different. And then the other, because you know how it is in the DFAC, it was multiple, you know, multiple units.
Yeah.
So of course everybody else lived in the nicer barracks, and then
Yeah.
we had these old ran down ones. You know what I'm saying? And so now you're, you know, you're getting accustomed to your job. You're interacting with people, you're building the bonds and the relationships and everything.
Yes.
So how was the job day to day? How was Army life for you? You know, some of the things, like, you know, if you want to describe, like, you know, what would be like a typical day for you and everything,
Yeah.
like let us all know about that.
Man. At first, you know, being a private, you're eager and you're motivated. Like you up before the alarm clock up, and you ready to do PT. So PT started off at 06. You time is 6:30, but you want to get there before it starts, and it was right across the street. I don't know how the some of the soldiers that were late for PT when it was just right across the street. Do PT from 6:30 to 8, an hour to shower, and be to work at 9. Um, we were in a unit where the majority of the soldiers or the members were like in their early 20s. They were signal. I was in a part of that signal unit down
Okay.
there, and I was a mechanic in that signal unit. So the signal guys had their own group, I guess you would say, and you know the mechanics had their own group. So on a typical Monday, we're in the motor pool. Everybody's in the motor pool, getting under the trucks and trekking their vehicles.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I remember plenty of times where they would call us in Cook White, talk about, yeah, you need to go to the motor pool. And I'm like,
Yep.
wait a minute,
Yes, yes.
y'all want us to get dirty, like, and then go back to work? Like, yeah, the military is was different. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't
Or,
mean to cut you off, but I wanted to add, like, the thing about the military, like the cooks and the mechanics, we stick together because we know the type of job that we have. We're in the field of a service within a service, our jobs, and
mm,
we had to stick together, the mechanics and the cooks, for real, for real.
definitely, yeah. And that's like I said, that's one thing that I can agree 100% because I had relationships with them at Bragg and at Bliss. You know what I'm saying? And it was like I said, we kind of like leaned on each other. Now, you're day to day. Now for me, as a cook, our day started a little bit earlier. If we worked the morning shift, we had to get up. I had to be at least at work at 5 o'clock. And depending on who is the NCO leading the shift, we would get off anywhere between 12, 1. If they was on something, we might have to stay to 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So what was you guys' work schedule? Was it just the regular 9 to 5, or was it some nights where you guys might have had to stay later, or did you have to come in on the weekends?
Um, it depends. I would say all of the above because if you having some type of training event where your guys are going to the field, the mechanics we would have to stay and make sure we hit those deadlines and make sure the vehicles are up to 1020 standards so they wouldn't have no problems traveling down the road in the vehicles. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it I wouldn't say it got worse over time, but as you extend the time in the military and you get that rank, of course you're going to work late nights. Of course you're going to work weekends and days and birthdays and things like that. And fortunately, I got to experience all of that, and now it makes me a better person.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, like once you get that rocker, you're taking care of soldiers. You're getting people unstuck out of the mud somewhere in the woods and with the military vehicles and stuff. So yeah, man, I've been called out a couple of times where I'm sitting at home and I got to take my wife with me because I don't want her being in the house by herself, and I got to go recover a vehicle because I'm Hotel 8 qualified. Hotel 8 is recovery vehicles. I'm the one that drives the wreckers.
Okay.
I hope I didn't give too much information to your question, but that's a typical day, and I've learned to absorb that experience in the military.
Oh no, no. I mean, the good thing about it is that those that are either tuning in or will watch it, they might have interest in going into the military, or they may have siblings or kids that may be going, in the near future. So they got to have an idea of what the day to day type of thing is, because like I said, everybody thinks they're gonna get a weapon and just go
Nah,
blow up something, you know what I'm saying? And that's not really what goes on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you may get that calling to do it, but that's not necessarily what you're going to be doing.
yeah,
Now, you mentioned something that I was going to end up asking, the fact of idea of potentially missing birthdays, missing holidays, other family events, back at home. So how did that in any way affect your mental? Because I know it was hard for me, because I know there was a stretch of time that I didn't see my family for almost 3 years, and I was never deployed. I just didn't. I just couldn't get away, and I was
yeah,
at I think at Bliss, as a matter of fact.
yeah. Yeah, man. Numerous times I've caught myself missing a birthday and not being home to help my wife out with my daughter. And I was a part of what's it called the border wall mission. And
Oh,
like I was away from home and I missed my daughter's birthday and I had to good thing technology was there. I actually FaceTime her and sung her happy birthday. So you do have that chance of missing those birthdays and those anniversaries and things like that, the holidays, but you can make up for it with a simple phone call, Wi-Fi. You just have to be flexible and innovative when you're joining the military and wanting to communicate with your family.
okay. Now, at any point when you were at Bliss, were you ever deployed?
No, no, not at Bliss.
Okay, so you was lucky and fortunate. You know,
Yeah,
that's a
like I
no,
said, when I got to the unit, they were already downrange, so
okay.
I didn't have to worry about going downrange with them.
Okay.
They didn't call me forward. So
Mm. Now, now, you know, you mentioned that you were at two other duty stations. How was that transition of PCS and or you know getting orders to go to another unit? How was that for you?
for me, it was exciting. Our transition from Bliss to here at Campbell, we were excited. We wanted to be closer to home rather than halfway across the country, and just being able to see the country. Like my
Mhm.
wife and I, we drove both cars from El Paso here to Fort Campbell, and it's an experience. I recommend everybody drive across country and see the sights, but um, make sure the government does make sure your house is can be transported, shipped, packed, and all of that good stuff. So I didn't have any issues with the transition. And like I said, once we got here, we were with family. We were in the same atmosphere with the climate and the southern hospitality and things like that. So yeah, the transition to Bliss to here, from Bliss to here, it wasn't that bad.
Okay. Now, do you have any horror stories as far as like when they started shipping your household goods, like anything get damaged, broken, lost, or somehow just mysteriously disappeared?
Not that I can think of. I know sometimes you think they packed some things, but they didn't, and you don't think about it until the boxes are being unpacked by you. Um,
Mhm.
and they give you a packet of things that you can pack and you can't pack, but you stack up to like canned goods or something like that, and you have to leave all that stuff. And that's what happened with my last move that I can remember. But other than that, the people are very professional. They're friendly. They know they're there to do a job, and they pack your house up and go about your day.
And then how was it for you up in Washington State?
Oh man, I loved it. I actually
Okay.
loved it. Like the rain, the weather, it was something to get used to because it was overcast all the time. And I've
Mhm.
heard stories about depression and in kids and the lack of vitamin D out there. And yeah, the whole experience out there was great, man. I love the people out there. Everybody was friendly. Everybody was welcoming.
Mm.
Um, the nature, being out with nature, it actually got my family and I, out in nature and being one with nature. So,
Mm.
yeah, Washington is a dope state. I hope you guys, if you ever have a chance, go visit, man.
Yeah, I missed you because I was up there last year. I was
Yeah.
up there was it last August, like right after my birthday. I think it was like August 6th, I was up in Washington State because a buddy of mine, he lives up there. He lives in Bremerton. And then I was out there seeing somebody and stuff. So it was a good experience. Got a chance to go to Seattle. That was my second time going to Washington State.
Mm.
I had went back, I think in '05 for my buddy's wedding. And then, like I said, he had been trying to get me to go back up there. So it was cool. I got a chance to see Portland. I stayed in, was it Olympia? Is it
Yeah,
Olympia? Or
yeah,
whatever, the
yeah,
border city to Portland, whatever that city is. Whatever, I can't even think. Vancouver.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Vancouver, that's what it was. Yep. And then I think we had passed through Tacoma and stuff like that. Yeah. So Washington State it's nice. And like I
Yeah.
said, you know, it's interesting because I know when I was out there that summer of '05, I remember it was like it rained every morning and then it would be hot as can be the rest of the day.
Yep.
And I was just like, wow, this is interesting. It'd be, but like I said, it different, different atmosphere. I like the outdoors. So Washington State definitely has a lot of outdoor activities for you to do.
Yeah, absolutely. If you stay in the house, you're doing yourself a disservice because there's
Mhm.
so much things to do out there outside.
And see, and I would say that is one of the perks of being in the military is that place like cities and states that you probably never imagined even going to visit, and then have the opportunity to like actually live there and see what you may see on TV, or something you may read about in a book, or something you see on the internet and stuff. So I think
Absolutely.
that's pretty neat.
Like I said,
Now,
South
go ahead.
Carolina, I never knew I'd be in Washington on a beach somewhere. Like the Pacific beaches are different. I can tell you guys that much. The Pacific beaches are different from the Atlantic beaches. So yeah.
Hmm. Most definitely. I've had the luxury of going to, like I said, to beaches in North Carolina, South Carolina, and all throughout California. We didn't go to the beach when I was up there last year. I mean, yeah, well, I went to a waterfall in Oregon, but that was it.
Yeah, that's
Now, so what did you take advantage of any benefits like while you were in the military? Did you go to school? That what is it? The TA is what they call it, or they
yeah.
use tuition assistance. Did you take advantage of that?
Yes, I did. When I was at Bliss, my one of my platoon sergeants was telling me about going to school because I think it's the first year you pay into this fund that allows you to use your tuition assistance. So
Hmm.
I took advantage of it. I went to school and then I got dropped out. Like it was an ongoing thing for me going to school and using my tuition assistance. But yes, I definitely used it. And what motivated me as an E5 was because the 2-for-1. I think they were doing like a 2-for-1 promotion points. So it was beneficial for us to actually attend school and get those college credits.
Hmm. Yes, indeed. That's why I asked it, because I know, because I was trying to do it myself. I used it when I was at Bliss. I had enrolled at UTEP and was going to grad school.
Mm,
And like I said, I it's not that I regret it. I just wish that I would have took it more serious.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Because it was like, because we were in the field. As a matter of fact, this was 2014. We were in the field, and they forced me to still be in the field. Like I had to sleep in the field, do all the work during the daytime in the field. They would give me like an hour or so to sleep. I mean, to study, and then I would leave the field, go back to the unit, go home, take a shower, and then go to class, come back, report to the unit. They had some little crazy mock 10 or whatever, and then would have to go back out to the field. And I'm
Yeah,
like, y'all got all these people. Like, what was the purpose of me? You know what I'm saying? But that's the powers that be. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And that to me is what you know is good. It's good that the Army has those kind of programs where they allow you to go to school. But I think that yeah, we still have an obligation and a duty, but they have to kind of make things a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, what happens if, because if you go to school and you mess up, guess what? You can get counseled.
And you
Yeah,
got that class.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you would think that if they sign off on it, then that would be more or less the priority, or you would work more or less like part time and not have to do all the strenuous hours that you would put into actual class. Because I'm sitting here, there was one time where I had to go to class filthy because I didn't have time. All I had was enough time to grab my backpack and shoot over to the campus.
Yeah.
And that to me is kind of, it's difficult. But hindsight is 2020, because like I said, I'm thankful that eventually I got my master's degree post military. But like I said, I could have at least put in a little bit more time, and may have been only like a semester shy of getting my master's after I got out.
Yeah.
So what was what made you decide to say, all right, maybe it's time to, you know, move on with your life, and say, okay, maybe I need to explore other options outside the military.
Oh, you get into the good stuff. All right. So, actually, I took the mandated vaccine as an opportunity, bro.
Mm,
Uh, it was me seeing that the army is not going to show up like how my family shows up in my life, and I was like, and it's time for me to make this transitional switch because I'm pouring too much energy into something that I'm not getting a lot out of. Like, there were days that I was like, you know what, I don't even feel like, being an NCO, but you have to put on that face as an NCO and a non-commissioned officer for, the people. And be that person that, have to go in day out. I was just getting tired of it. Like, it wasn't there anymore. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So I talked to my wife and I was like, this could be the opportunity that could, allow the universe to shift things into motion for me and my family.
That's that, yeah, because it for me, it was a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? I had an incident in 2014, and my first sergeant, I won't say her name, but I was a victim of domestic violence, and um the unit, because I was intoxicated, they was like, well, we're gonna send you to rehab first, and then when you return, we're gonna kick you out.
Mm.
So I was like, dang, like how is the powers that be, as they say, they protecting the soldiers, gonna sit here and decide my fate based off of an incident, an abuse that happened to me.
Right.
And so I said, all right. And so during that duration, I was like, okay, I went to treatment, came back, and they were like, all right, yeah, we're gonna start chaptering you out. And I was like, all right, well, I'm 30, 35, 36. What do I do next?
Right.
And so over the next 3 or 4 months, they pulled me out the DFAC. I'm working at the unit. Everybody looking at me, man, you should be cooking. Why are you here? And I'm like, I really didn't want to explain myself.
Right.
But I was like, okay, people were, I got people frowned upon me. People talked about me. Oh, I was like, okay. And then somehow, the powers that be, thank God, but they had, we get counseling statements, or we're supposed to get counseling statements from NCOs. Somehow all of them disappeared. To this day, I don't know what happened to them, but I know I didn't touch them. And so when we got the new chain of command, they were like, Watson, we noticed that you're supposed to be getting chaptered out. We're not going to chapter you out because we don't have no paperwork to support why we should put you out. And so at that point, I was like, all right, chunk the deuces. Let me go ahead and put in for this Met board. I said, since y'all put me through this hell for the last 4 months, and now you're saying, oh, okay. And then I had my NCOs that was like, man, just do your contract and get out. I was like, F y'all, I'm going to get paid for this. Exactly. And so that's why I went ahead and I put in for the Met board. And for those that don't know, the Met board is a medical discharge. And that's what I end up getting, which I am now 100% disabled, which I am very proud of. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so that's that slap in the face for what they did. And for me, the transition, because like I said, they had pulled me out the DFAC for a minute. And they were like, oh, yeah, you can go back to work. I said, no, I'm not. I said, no, I'm not. So guess what I did? Started scheduling appointments. And I was like, man, like you said, so I feel you when you say, okay, yeah, your heart's not in it no more. Because it was like, for me, it was like, dang, even if I would have retired, which I would have retired at 49, it was like, okay, I joined because I chose to. Right. I didn't make the mistake for you guys to say, I didn't do this for you guys to say, now we're going to kick you out on a technicality. So I went ahead and I said, all right. And then let me tell you, they was mad when, and I never forget it, May of 2015, or right before that, I came up on orders to get promoted. Automatic promotion. I said, man, this is good. So when I got out, I got promoted to sergeant. And I was like, and I remember, I don't know if you remember Johnson. He was in our unit. He was the tall, skinny guy. He was like, Watson. He was like, man, you getting promoted today. Why do you want to get out? I said, bro, I got some things I want to do, and it's not the Army. And he was like,
Exactly.
man, just stay in. I said, nah, bro. I said, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna go back, finish the school thing and everything. And he was like, man, you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure. And so what was your plan? What was the plan for you, once you decided to get out?
Oh man, this is gonna go down a rabbit hole, but follow me. So, I wanted to get. I was inspired to get into fitness. I was inspired to take care of myself due to the fact that my dad passed away in 2018, and I thought back to that, and I was like, we need to be educated on our health more. And my dad, he never talked about, eating healthy and doing things like that. He was a great cook. I love my dad to death to this day. He was a great cook, but the habit that he instilled in us, the eating habits, it wasn't the best. So I started thinking, I was like, I want to educate myself and my family. And so if I'm educating myself and my family, why not I use a platform and use my voice to show people and tell people that, you need to be taking care of your health and your body, your mental health, and all of that good stuff. So I was like, you know what? That's the path I'm gonna go by. That's
Mm.
the path that I'm blazing. I started changing my lifestyle habits. I started
Okay.
going in my home gym. I told my wife, I was like, we're gonna be eating a little different, but bear with me, stick with me. And she was my support systems through the whole thing. And I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do when I get out of the military. Is the health and fitness world. And coincidentally, we were going through the pandemic. So what better time than to tell people that health is more important, and ever since then, I've been dedicating myself every day to uh, educate people on health.
Mm.
So,
Most
and
definitely.
people start to listen.
Mm. And ladies and gentlemen, he has great content, needless to say.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And so how was the like the because I know that you're a certified person, you're a personal trainer, not a personal, no, certified, you're a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that like in terms of now you're doing something totally different than the military jargon and everything, and now you're learning the body, learning like I said, the proper nutrition, the workout methods and things like that. So how was that learning this?
Um, well, having that military background, it wasn't too different from
Hmm.
taking care of your body like that because every day we have to be in tip top shape. We go to PT every day. We run almost every day, so it wasn't a rough transition learning the things that I already knew how to take care of my body. When there's a height and weight or a PT test, I knew what to do to get mentally focused on, okay, I need to cut back on carbs, or I need to add more liquids and fluids into my body before the PT test. So that transition and those things that that military taught me, it allowed me to add to my tool bag on the civilian side.
Okay. And then I forgot to ask this before we got into the personal training,
Mhm.
but how has how has it been for you getting medical services through the VA?
Medical services. I started my claim process before I got out, and
Okay.
they paired me with a VSO. But I tried to get in touch with the VSO from Washington, and we were in the transition to getting the house packed up and all of that. So I started my claim myself as of
Okay.
transition down here. I'm still waiting back for uh my percentage. You
Okay.
know, everybody's praying for that magic number. So I'm still waiting on the transition, but it hasn't been that bad. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I was, like I said, I was fortunate because of going through the med board process that they did all of it for me. You know,
Yeah.
they went through my medical records. They was like, "Oh, you got this, you got that. Okay, now we going to, let the classifier decide what the percentage is and stuff." And so my only advice to you is stay on it. You know what I'm saying? Stay on it. Don't get too frustrated and everything, because like I said, it is a process. I know that because things are kind of sort of getting back to normal. I think the process itself is a little bit of a quicker turnaround compared to before. Some of those claims will take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so how has life how long, wait, matter of fact, how long have you been out? I know you got out like during the summertime, right? Wasn't it?
I got out August 23rd, so
Oh, you still fresh.
3 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
3 months.
So how has it been knowing that, okay, look, I don't have to wake up, you know what I'm saying? 6 o'clock. Well, I mean, you might, wake up to work out or whatever,
I
but
still do. Yeah.
yeah, but knowing that, all right, man, I ain't gotta, if I'm running a little bit late for this and this and that, I don't have to go drive. I can just, roll out the bed and go, what I'm saying, go work out compared
Yeah.
to having to drive a distance and things like that. So how has the transition been for you?
The transition, it's actually been mind blowing. Like you have a set schedule in the military. You do this Monday through Friday. Now it's like, what do I want to do? I had to actually sit down and figure out, like, who am I, what I like to do in my free time. Because once you put that uniform on, you are that person, but you signed up to be someone else. You're the driver of somebody else's car, if that's a good example. And I was like, you know what? My success is going to be on my terms.
Hmm.
So whatever mistakes I made, I can only blame myself.
Hmm.
And that's what I live by. Like, my success is built upon me.
Hmm. Now, let us know about the Southern Bread Fitness. What you got going on with that?
Oh yeah, Southern Bread Fitness. I wanted to push out a Veterans Day deal, but I have some other things working. I'm actually working at Crunch Fitness as a
Okay.
personal trainer. So if you guys want to get in touch with me and have a one-on-one, come down to Crunch Fitness here in Clarksville and ask for me. They'll get you situated. But if you're remote, go visit www.southernbreadfitness.com. Check out the exercises that I do. I do personal training. Remote training, I want to add, and yeah, I make lifestyle changes. Men like myself, women that have kids and careers. Let's sit down and talk about it. There's always a root cause, and you can always make your life better by one step at a time. And that's what I tell my clients. Like I said, your focus is built on you, not on me.
Mhm. Now, we gonna get personal with it now. You know what I'm saying? We done talked about the career. We done talked about, transitioning, the business venture. Um, One thing that I want to say is, like, I appreciate you, bro. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because, one thing about, forming relationships from the military is when you know it's real, when you step away, are those people going to keep in contact with you? And excuse me, I'm sorry. You did that, and you have. And, you know, that to me is more than anything, because I'm a kind of person where if you show that you got my back, then I'm gonna show to you I got your back as well.
Right.
And that to me is most important for the veterans, is that if you have friendships with people, try to keep in contact with those people after the military. Because
Absolutely.
like I said, because I'm telling you, I have friends from first grade that I still keep in contact with. And that's for a reason, because I formed that bond then, and the bond still carries today. And how is that important to you to now that you're a civilian and, I'm sure that, you'll reach out and ask me questions and I'm going to reach out and ask you questions. It's more or less of holding each other accountable. We held each other accountable in the military and we had our backs. Now that we're civilians, we have to. Why? Because we lose veterans because we don't look out for each other. We don't get that text message. We don't get that phone call that we may have, did while we were in the military.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. That when you get out of the military, you don't have that, I want to say mandatory, but you don't have that brotherhood that automatically comes with the military life. And once you leave that brotherhood and into the civilian life, it's different. And it's very important that we do stick together because some things that I can talk to you about, I may not talk to my wife about, or vice versa, so we can relate to each other, and it has to be some type of relationship there.
Okay. Yeah, that is truly key, man. And so before we conclude this, I usually do like, hey, give advice for those who don't want to drink. But my question to you is, or more or less of a statement is, what advice would you give to these youngsters that, might be teenagers that's getting ready, or, they're about to graduate, it's 2020, 2023. And they're like, okay, I don't know what to do with my life. Do I go to college? Do I go get a civilian job, or should I join the military? Like, what advice for you? Because now you mentioned you joined at 23 going on 24. So you got the chance to experience, what life was like before you put on that uniform.
Right. My advice is life is an experience. You're going to make mistakes, live through those mistakes, and live to tell about them. You're not going to always be perfect. Take everything as a learning experience. Don't take everything personal, and live your life. Stand on your own too, and stand in what you believe in. Because if you're true to yourself, you don't have to worry about being true to anyone else, because you matter first.
Oh, that's what's up. All right, bro. I mean, you got anything for me before we conclude this? Because I know we could definitely talk about what's going on in my life, but this ain't about me. It's all about you. You know what I'm saying? So I was just wondering, you got anything for me before we conclude and everything? Did I miss anything? Any other plugs you need for me for you to put out there? You know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure. Well, I want to make sure I don't miss anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all I got for now.
Okay.
If you're in the local area, come visit me at Crunch Fitness here in Clarksville. Come stop by, say hey. Add me on Instagram.
Please follow him. Please do.
Say again.
No, I said please do. Like, please follow you.
It's wintertime coming. You still got to stay in shape. Live life, man. Love yourself. Love others. Stay in positive vibrations, high vibrations, and that's it. That's all I have. Thank you for the opportunity. Don't be afraid to call. I know we had that conversation that day, and I was glad that I got to be that. So.
Right. No, I appreciate it. Like I said, you gonna hold me accountable. We gonna talk, because I definitely need to fill you in on what's going on with my life. But
Okay.
like I said, man, I appreciate you coming on. Once again, happy Veterans Day. Oh yeah, Clarksville. Wait a minute, I'll be back in Clarksville next year. My brother hope to get a gym spot for. Okay, there you go. That's one right there.
Sure.
And but you forgot to mention Clarksville, Tennessee. Yeah, you said Clarksville. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in the Clarksville, Tennessee area, you said Crunch Fitness.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, like I said. But bro, man, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sharing your story, your experiences from the military. I wish you nothing but the success as you continue in your transition through the civilian world, you know I got your back. Like I said, man, you asked me questions because I know a lot of things. You know, matter of fact, before I conclude, make sure that, you know, you utilize the veteran service officer. And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of different things that they can help you with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And all you got to do is ask. And the only thing they could do is tell you, no, they can't do it, or yes, they can. And there's a lot of financial options because this apartment right here, I went through the VA to get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. Like, you know, a lot of veterans, and I forgot this, that's the main thing I wanted to say, is that a lot of veterans out here, and I heard it because I do outreach once a week, and I hear the same story. They say, they don't do anything for the veterans. That's a bold-faced lie.
Yeah.
That is a bold-faced lie. You know, I've seen a lot of, you know, guys, I don't know if how true it is. They say, you know, if somebody say they're a veteran, only thing I do is say, okay, you're a veteran unless you want to flash your ID. But there are programs, and I'm living proof of it. Let's see. That board process. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep. Oh yeah. Hey, I don't know if you remember when I had disappeared for a little while. She was at the same rehab. Well, we're not at the same time, but when they sent me to Virginia, she went to that, she at one point was at that rehab facility out in Fort Belvoir. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so that's why I try to tell people that there are a lot of programs out there. There's money out there for veterans. It's just a matter of talking to the right person. It's a matter of, you know, getting in contact with right people. Because like I said, a lot of people have told me stuff and I'll sit on it for a little while. I'm like, you know what? I need assistance. Mm-hmm. Guess what? Make the phone call and it works. I just got a blessing. I just got blessed this week. They paid like 2 G's to get my car fixed. Like, I'm serious. So it's just a matter of speaking to the right person. So like I said, once again, you know, this is another wonderful episode of 12 Faces Sober Speaks podcast. I'm thinking that I need to talk to more veterans. And the reason being is because I don't want them to feel like they're alone. They don't have the right kind of support. Big shouts out to Rose Jenkins. She's a veteran. She's a 92 golf best-selling author. She's up here in Minnesota. We met when I first came back to Minnesota. And she's done a lot of wonderful artwork and everything too for me in my apartment. So yeah, but like I said, bro, man, I really do appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, and we'll definitely be in contact real soon, man. And like I said, I wish you nothing but the best of luck and continued success. And tell Mrs. Reed I said hello, and tell her, like I said, I appreciate her as well, because without her, you and I would have never been able to connect. You know what I'm saying? So most definitely tell her thank you. I really do appreciate it. But like I said, man, all the best to you. Congratulations on the new addition to the family too. I forgot to mention that as well. Yeah, and like I said, thanks again, bro. I really do appreciate you, and I will be in contact with you real soon.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity, man.
All right, bro. You take care.
All right. You too. Thanks.
All right, no.